I started the project off with a job, and so did Nate. And dude, how loud do you want me to be?
Okay, sorry. I was just like, I don't
That
know.
felt like plenty loud.
Yeah, all right, sorry, I'll shut up.
Yeah, mostly, trying to figure out when people are free to work on stuff and assigning them things that they can get done within that time frame that plays to their strengths. For example, Steven is good at DAC and coding, and so, he volunteered himself to do that portion of the project in the form of the dyno, and Marco also said he could do anything as good as any of us could because he's the best around. And
I think he could actually do it better than us.
yeah, he probably could have done the whole project by himself. And so he volunteered to do the other coding portion, whereas me and Nate maybe not preferred to code. And so we did volunteer ourselves to do the coding portions. And you guys feel like you learned about your time management skills. Steven, you started the project with no job.
Yeah.
Got a job halfway through, so how did that affect you?
Oh, miserably. I'm a professional procrastinator, brother. So I planned on having free time, and when a procrastinator loses his free time, he loses a lot of abilities. So I was crunching a lot of those meetings. I set a lot of personal deadlines as well, though, so that helped out a ton. Like towards the end, definitely, I wanted to get a lot of the prototyping done in the last meetings we made in those last weeks, and I think it worked out pretty well. I think you did a pretty good job managing the project as well.
Thanks, sure.
I tried to keep us on
Subtle brag,
Subtle brag.
But
I think it was like an effort thing for me. Like doing the report, like it was always in the back of my mind. Like I did occasionally put it on the back burner. I was sitting here thinking like I really don't want to do this.
I don't think any of us did. Like we were all like the second you said I could do the entire dyno with no report, I took that up in a heartbeat, brother. Because I knew I would not do the report.
To do the report, I was like,
I knew for a fact I was going to make the shittiest report known to man if I had to touch it.
You can do the paperwork.
Yeah.
Not gonna fight you on that.
Well, I guess I work for UCOR in Knoxville, so like I was here maybe every other weekend.
Yeah. I mean, that's how we started it.
Yeah.
Every other weekend we met up and we chatted and talked. A teams meeting every week on Tuesday night.
Took a million.
Nobody showed up too, including me towards the end. So it's like whatever.
Took millions of years to get our actual project done.
Yeah, but I think honestly, I mean, like me and Marco were in a lot of those team meetings setting the timelines for the PowerPoint, and when we hit our marks, probably within a week, like every single time. Like maybe we were a week behind, or maybe something got shifted a week early. But like making the timeline, I think making a detailed timeline that's very long is maybe stupid.
Yeah.
But I think making a timeline 2 weeks out and updating it every week.
That's a good
It's
short
pretty
order.
Yeah.
Short term.
That's pretty doable, and it wasn't too bad. So, I'll give all our professors their dues about time structure in that.
So what about
Most I think it's done.
evolution of the project? Like as it like continued further, like what do you?
Yeah.
I mean, as it.
We had high standards, brother. We had
started
ambitions.
So we were like up here.
We
and then
would
we finished
very
somewhere around
ambitious.
here.
Yeah.
And it just, I mean, granted, as things started to get to not work out, it basically didn't end up basically as what we planned it
Yeah,
to in the
yeah.
beginning.
Exactly, yeah, Lego
So,
circuit.
yeah, we remember we had that meeting where it was like, what's the bare minimum thing that's going to hit our requirements and let us do fine? And we were like, an example circuit, car with dyno, and that was the bare minimum. And we ended up hitting the bare minimum. So at the end of the day, we hit the. It just,
Brother, we met the deadline and we didn't get fired.
Yeah.
Good job, that's
we
all that
wouldn't get
matters.
fired. We maybe.
Not on track for a fucking promotion, I'll tell you that
We maybe
much.
over-promised for certain portions, but very quickly
Yeah.
cut it back down. Every time Purdue was like, think about things to cut, I was like, I've got a bunch.
Yeah, I was like, say no more. He was like talking about the load cell and everything, and I was thinking, yeah, I could totally do that. Then as like time was going on, and like thinking about it now, like retrospectively, it would not have worked at all, especially with how that motor works.
Yeah.
Because of how weird it was to toy with, because it's not just voltage and everything. I would have died.
It's because the motor controller is,
Smart.
it's very smart. Yeah. We
Smarter
didn't
than me,
have
yeah.
any input in it.
Yeah. So that was very nice
The
and
one
bad.
thing that we did cut that current sensor,
Yeah.
because it just didn't work.
It
even
didn't
though-
work. We really tried.
Like, we tried multiple sensors, we looked up multiple sources.
Yeah, a whole Saturday trying to get that thing to work, and
It just, it led to the same results where it was
It was
off.
very strange.
Same with the fucking radial encoder.
Oh yeah, the damaged one.
The damaged one, and then the fact when we ordered it, it was just like, they just shut down shipping because they paid
Oh,
us.
yeah, super inconvenient.
That was.
I don't even think it's came in yet. Like,
Yeah, that's super inconvenient.
I might go check, honestly.
Yeah, those were some outside factors that we had no control over. Damaged radio.
I think we handled it pretty well.
Yeah, I think we adjusted really fast.
We adjusted fast,
We pivoted around to things that we could work on, and that counts for a lot.
Dude, I was nervous about the car.
Yeah,
It goes
dude,
over
it
the
took
coast.
us, originally, right, the original shipping time for the car was kind of a question mark, but it ended up coming in on time, and, we put it together and got it figured out, and that's good. We didn't break it until just now, so it got to the point it needed to, finish line. That's like what is that, the Le Mans? Yeah. Yeah, cross the finish line, car broke down, good to go.
So what do you think y'all learned about yourself as a team member?
I think I maybe have some control issues.
No, dude, at the beginning, it wasn't like, who wants to do what? It kind of just like formed, like everybody was just automatically like,
I think we meshed pretty well.
Xander, what do you
Disagree.
need?
Yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah,
like-
I think it went well. I think that it did go really well, but I think that, I guess towards the end is where I feel like, I think that the timeline was getting to me a little bit. And I was really trying to not be pushy, but really felt that want to be like.
as the deadline started to get closer, we started to.
I actually disagree. I think actually that's a good thing.
Okay.
As like a leader, I think someone needs to be pushy. Because at the end of the day, like we're all friends here.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
We had to
The
finish.
project
if you're
has
at
to be
work,
done.
you got to get the project done. So I actually disagree with that
Okay.
statement. I was like, I think yeah, be a little pushy.
I know
Because
that-
I'm not, at least me, I'm not going to take it personally. Because
Yeah.
if I'm slacking, like there was a week where I had like I was supposed to get a print done and I didn't, and I was like feeling real shitty about it. And if you pressed me about it, I wouldn't have felt bad. That was my bad.
Yeah.
But again, some people take it personally and everything. But you just got to make sure you're going into it. You just got to make sure you're going into it and making sure like this isn't an attack on you. This is just we got to get it done. And if you're not going to get it done, tell me so we can get it done.
Yeah, I guess I feel weird about it though, because like I feel like I don't. A lot of my addition to the project in the beginning was I feel like we all really evenly contributed to like the idea and planning. We kind of ended up going with one of the ones I suggested just because that's what we got approved for. But like the middle section of our project, I did nothing. Like I did nothing. And then towards the end was finally I got to like the fabrication of like hours and hours of making that same piece over and over again, which like by the way sucked so bad.
I saw you doing it, brother. It
I
looked
burned
horrible.
my fingers so many times, not on the solder, on the hot glue gun every time. Because solder is very predictable. It's gonna go where the
Yeah.
metal is. The hot glue you press and
And it might come out,
spreads.
yeah.
Yeah, and then you just like you grab it, you're holding the wrong part and you just burn yourself. So I felt weird trying to be like keeping us on task and being like, oh, you guys hitting your deadlines when I was like definitely not hitting mine. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's not good. You gotta clean up your side of the street
Yeah.
first.
I see that.
I know that when it comes to deadlines, this was the first time where I actually started to procrastinate a bit more. 'Cause
We're
normally-
bad influences on you.
Normally,
Yeah,
we're like, normally,
Join us on the dark side.
normally I keep up with the work I get, and I keep up with it, but
Yeah, I
the
talked to
main
you. I
thing
talked
that
to you
had
about
me-
Mechatronics, and you was like 5 weeks ahead on labs or something. I'd be like,
Yeah,
thing
and Marco
that
had
kept
no
me-
job the whole time.
yeah.
The thing that kept me in check was the Tuesday meetings, because I was like, okay,
You had to
if I'm
tell
gonna
me
have to,
personally.
Yeah.
I had to, like, I had to tell, actually.
Mark definitely saved us in the beginning, in the middle of the semester.
For sure.
Like he would, because like whenever I first started working, they may or may not know that I was still taking classes. So telling them like,
low key about it.
like on my resume I said I graduated.
Yeah, I was wondering why you just dipped for a little bit. Because
Yeah.
you didn't tell me later,
Well, I wasn't, it'd be a little
Job.
They
embarrassing.
didn't ask you
that-
for your diploma?
No, they didn't ask me for mine either. That's the thing. They just don't check.
They don't!
They don't
They
check.
don't
They
check!
don't check because they're just like, surely.
Yeah,
Surely we'll
well,
know.
look, on my resume, I literally have expected graduation, like June 2024, and they just didn't read
I
it.
mean, my boss knows. Well, obviously, my boss knows, but like, even that might.
Like my boss didn't know that?
The other ones forget. Every time they're like, oh, I forget you're still in school. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not an engineer.
Yeah,
You guys should
like
probably
tech-
stop giving me actual
yeah.
important stuff.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
exactly how my work is.
So they just they didn't register that. So I was like, for the first week and a half, shitting bricks, like, how am I gonna dance around this? And my solution was just waking up at 3 a.m. And that sucked ass.
Yeah, and then I mean, eventually he reaches me, like, yeah, I'm not gonna be there, I got a job.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, totally cool. Like, I work way closer. That's why I can make it during lunch break. And but yeah, no, Marco, it really went like this. It was like, Steven, I feel like you did a lot of stuff in the beginning.
Yeah.
And it made our PowerPoints look really good because it was like we were making progress on it, I know. And then it's like Steven dropped off, and at the exact same time, Marco like gets
Yeah!
moved
It
on
started
in, like,
picking
2
up.
days. And so the PowerPoint gets moved on, and then by the time Marco's done with his code, I had finally started like 3D printing prototypes, and it was just it worked out
And
really
then when
well.
that dropped off, we started doing the reports.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it knocks out 30 pages in like 2 weeks of the report. Oh my god. Yeah, it actually
It's
Not
It was
even-
sheer convenience.
Yeah, it averages out to like even time
Yeah.
distribution, but it was not. It was.
No,
It was
It's like there were days where like I was just kind of like, okay, what is there for me to do? Why is there nothing?
Yeah.
Because it was just there wasn't much to program. Most of the sensors would just had to be plugged in. So it's like, well,
And I mean, that's like a big takeaway for that is like the timing thing, you know, setting your deadlines and stuff, like that's all well and dandy. And, you know, if you can make them, that's great. But effort really does come and go. And like just certain parts of the project is just really time consuming for very little showing versus like takes like 3 days and we get like a huge showing out of it. Because like, you know, the physical fabrication of the dyno took like an afternoon basically. And it looks like that's like a week's worth of work. Whereas the coding, I'm sure, took way longer.
Especially
And
with a
you can't
broken
even see
encoder.
it. Yeah, I mean, like it's nothing, no physical proof other than like an LCD lights up now and works, and you're like, yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's hard to try to make effort linear. It's just stupid.
So what would you tell yourself if you could go back in time to the beginning of the project?
Don't get a job. No.
My bank account says get a job.
I know.
Yeah.
I didn't even say that.
Mental health
Preaching.
says,
Afford rent, yeah.
I like having a home.
I think we should have pushed harder on communication with our contact.
Yeah, well, he fucking moved. He like left to India.
Yeah.
Left to India.
For
Yeah,
like
that was
literally 2 weeks. The week after he finally like started talking back to us, so that was awful. Because then when he came back, I mean, we were talking to Purdue. Purdue was literally like, "I'll push him."
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. That we just like had it. Like,
We were definitely on the back burner, and I feel worse for that aerospace team because Dr. Roberts is way worse for that. I
Yeah,
had his
I believe
class,
that.
it was so rough.
And like it's like the aerospace team was talking about like, oh, we didn't know if we were going to be positioned there, but that's not the problem. The problem was you still have to get your idea approved.
Yeah.
Before you can start it. Like it'd be one thing if we were fully allowed to not get anything approved, but like they wanted us to get our idea approved and then do the rest of it, but then they
Up to
didn't
us.
ever
Approving
allow
us
us
is
to
up to
approve
us
the
once it's
freaking
approved.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it's once the concept is approved, everything else is on us.
Yeah, we're kind of green lighted after that, but yeah, that's stupid. I think
Yeah, I do agree that if it wasn't for because I think that we could have been a bit, we could have finished up the concept and.
Well, I think the main issue would have been we would have found out that rodeo cutter was broken way sooner, and the other
Yeah.
ones would have ordered it.
I agree.
Because that was the thing we were waiting on, was we had to get our thing approved so we could get the shipping done, and then we had to wait so long.
And then the summertime crunch didn't help.
Yeah, that's what everybody mentioned. So that would have been nice. I think I would have told myself to maybe do more research on just everything in our project. I feel like, and this is at least me personally, I really feel like I don't know how DC motors work now.
Yeah,
Because I thought I got it. I feel like
I thought it was voltage,
I
I thought it was A-okay.
Yeah. I am really underestimated the difficulty of a DC-DC that's pretty much what that's what I definitely should research more is those two things. But you know, I'm not an electrical engineer.
We still made it work.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, I would tell myself it's like things will go wrong and you're gonna hate electrical engineering even more. Right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I'm so glad I bought a new soldering iron. I bought one like for personal projects because mine was crappy, but holy crap, this one is so bad. Like, it's just my other one just like it wouldn't stay hot long enough. Because it's just like that like really cheap beginner Weller one you get
Yeah.
for like $40. Yeah, but I spent like $80 on like a nice
Splurge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it is
9 day.
it's 9 minutes. It heats up to 170 like this. Like I'm not even joking. You turn it on and you just watch it count from 1 to 170 in like a minute flat, and you're just like, all right.
One thing I realized for me personally was the like the PWM signal. I could have had a confirmation that the code would have worked if I just went to a signal generator. Didn't even think about that early on.
Yeah.
I was completely stupid about that. I could have hooked a signal generator up to it and it would have been fine.
Well, here's the thing though, like you would have only had time to do that before you got a job.
Exactly.
Because the labs are not open with the stuff that we need.
No.
That's so dumb. I was talking to someone about that. I was like, my coworker who graduated from here, he's like, yeah, it's stupid that none of the 24-hour labs have like actual lab equipment. And I was like, yeah, it's really like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, it's just a crappy computer. So that was one thing I realized I could have done better easily, because then I could have just hooked it up, because that last one wasn't working. And other than that, I think the 3D modeling went pretty okay.
I think you should have gotten a different color filament. Not gonna lie.
That was
It looks sad.
the cheapest filament I had. That was not planning on being used. So I actually bought the nice Hybrid PLA white filament.
Oh wow.
Like I only buy Hybrid PLA because
It's stronger, right? That's like.
I don't know if it's stronger, but it prints real smooth.
It does.
It's like real, like that's what my box is made out of. Remember that white box?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
cam feels trying to
Yeah,
break?
it is really nice. He did immediately tell you it was not as good as it could have been.
Yeah, instantly.
Yeah.
Um,
That's how it goes.
So I was hoping to use a better one, but by that time I had 3 different spools of that white PLA with only 100 grams left, and the prints I was making,
Yeah.
I would have had to switch off, and it would have cooled off and been off centered and everything.
Dude, I feel like mine turned out really nice. That's just the
Yeah.
basic matte white PLA. Like it. I like the white. The black always looks bad. Like, what's up with that?
Yeah, that's what I tried black one time, and I'm never doing it again because it even fucked up my printer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm like hating that PLA.
As long as you know, like the chemical process, like after it heats up, it definitely changes color.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, the gray I agree. I'm not the biggest fan of gray either. But it was super cheap on Amazon. It was like $15, and it was still hyper brand. So I was like, sure, I'll give it a try. But like in it was like recycled or something.
I just bought mine straight from Bamboo Labs since I've got one of their printers. They honestly, the filament's cheap. But like if you like they.
How much for a kilogram?
It's probably about $16.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's $16 for PLA, PETG, TPU, and ABS is a little more expensive, like $16. I think it's like 18. But like, and you can buy it in bulk, like, and that's something most companies don't do. You can get like, and they give a discount.
Yeah.
You can buy more than one roll at a time. So, and if they do like a monthly membership thing, and I don't know how expensive it is, you get it for free for like 6 months when you buy a printer from them, and it discounts all the filament.
Oh, that's bitchin'.
Yeah, so I bought like 8 rolls whenever, like a month after. Once I recovered from the financial decision of buying the printer a couple months later,
Yeah.
I bought like 8 rolls of filament.
So
This
back,
reflection is
back on
also
topic.
pain.
Yeah.
back on topic. Does anybody have anything else?
I feel like it went well.
I think it went well.
I think we worked well as a team, and that counts for a lot.
I'm definitely glad.
Yeah.
I've had group projects in the past where the one thing I hated the most, and it didn't happen this time, was someone would say they were doing like this super critical part of the component
And not do it.
and then just never touch it.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that wasn't like any of us, because I think we all got our stuff done, and it really helped that these are completely separate.
It did really help that we were able to kind of divide and conquer.
Like even like if something went wrong with me, like I had times where my adapters were going like super shitty or something, and it was just not working. But you could still progress.
Yeah.
Because then you weren't necessarily waiting on me. I think that helped a ton.
I think that.
I know that there are times where I definitely like undersold my capabilities because I do not want to mess up something.
Undersold. You said
Especially
you could do
with
the entire project better.
Especially
Remember you talking
with
about
the
that?
3D
that?
print.
You literally said that on day one. You were like, "Yeah, I could just do the project 10 times better."
Especially with the 3D print with the brick that.
Yeah, the manufacturing issue, by the way, I was really stupid because it was, I think, 2 a.m. in the morning when I started it. How, Xander, from a 3D printer perspective, how would you print that?
Probably on the side.
Thank you.
Yeah, zero
I was
support.
too stupid to do that at 2 a.m.
Yeah, no support.
And like 2 hours into it, I wake up and I'm like, no.
Oh, that, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been
Yeah.
so much
Yeah,
easier.
you had like an accordion of
Yeah,
supports.
that's what I was playing.
Hey,
And I was
I have
sitting,
that.
and I was, yeah.
I enjoy playing with that.
I felt so stupid when I woke up. I was like, God, why did I do that?
Dude,
But
now-
the backside does look better because you don't have like that brim.
Yeah, really
Ironically though, my little like angles holder is printed with the angle up like this, which makes sense.
Same here. This
But
one
it's-
was as well.
But it's got a lot of supports from doing that, but it's still the fastest way to print it.
Yeah, this
It's-
one
it has
was.
way more supports in the other direction.
This one was the exact same way, of where I had the little
Yeah.
uppy ledge. Engineering terms.
Uppy ledge.
And
Good thing we did our presentation already.
it's already.
Anyways, so we're good? That's our
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Alright, boys. Now we gotta shoot a commercial.
Yeah, let me look at the.
Or
Yeah.
yeah, I'll edit the video too.